in philosophy? How high did you take
I
it?
don't have like so I don't have uh like training in philosophy.
Oh,
I've
that's
just
why you're not
been
annoying. Understood.
yeah, no, I came into philosophy I just like a TLDR. I used to be like super like far left, like super revolutionary, how could it be possible to change society? How is that
Were you
actually
an
possible?
accelerationist too?
Am I?
Were you that back then?
Were you?
Yeah, yeah,
I would say in a sense I still am.
yeah. Okay, okay.
Um, but I don't talk about it. Um,
Not on
because
Twitch, at
then I have
least.
to get into so many other conversations. And
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
so it's way more complicated than people realize. Um, but yeah, I was just like super interested in like how you can actually change society and how you can have an impact on people's lives because it seemed like every time I was doing like political organizing, it always fell into the same kind of traps, identity politics, people fighting with each other about nonsensical things, and then ultimately nothing ever changed. So like I got to a point where I was like, I need to know the truth about how to change people's minds, and to do that, I just got a fascination with philosophy. So I started reading Spinoza, Nietzsche, Deleuze, and a couple other people in particular. And so, like me personally, I've read a number of books from these authors in particular, and then like did some background work, understanding like the canon and stuff like that.
Yeah,
But I don't have like training. I didn't go to college for this or anything. It was
yeah.
just personally just something that I was fascinated with and just like was just addicted to it, I guess.
There's something that often is interesting that happens to like philosophy students specifically, which is like it feels like any, not all, because I've
I
definitely,
haven't been extreme left since. I think my I would put a caveat with the idea of extreme left because the logic behind like my politics is kind of complicated in this regard. But like when it comes to like what we think of as the extreme left, like you are organizing for a revolution, right? That is what I would call the extreme left. Is
yeah,
that you see that there's an inevitable revolution because of the structure of capitalism. So how can I make that possible?
right.
Um, I abandon the idea of revolution strictly because I don't think it makes any logical sense that there's any moments in history that exist as like a fundamental point of change. I don't believe that that exists. It all necessarily has to be, I guess what I would call like micro political.
So it's
That
like
you have to
slow
engage with people.
downstream
Yes,
evolutions.
yes,
Okay.
exactly. And once I got into that idea that it's really about that the ultimate thing when it comes to my politics is ethics and communicating my ethics to other people and changing people's minds and giving up on any of this weird LARPy idea of like revolution. I probably gave up on that around the time that Occupy ICE failed,
Hmm.
because I took a heavy role in Occupy ICE, where people were like organizing to occupy the ICE facility in Portland to shut it down, and the amount of like identity politics that were going on. I literally got a distilled image of every dogmatic, shitty piece of the left that you could possibly think of. I had people that were saying that they won't take orders from anyone if they were white. I had people that were specifically like creating rumors between each other, saying that like this person's problematic, or this person is like a spy, this person's like a fucking Fed, or there's
Oh
so
my
much shit
gosh.
behind it. And I saw it. And Occupy ICE in Portland lasted for about a month. I saw all of this spiraling, and then there was a point where to make a statement, there is an ICE agent literally a couple blocks away, um, took a migrant in view of us, put them in the van, and then slowly forced themselves into the building. And everyone was basically just throwing a tantrum because they weren't able to stop it. There was nothing that you could do, and it became fundamentally clear to me because of all of this stuff going on at that moment is the same moment that I got heavily into philosophy because I needed answers as to why there was nothing that could be done. Um, and so yeah, I've seen like the worst of the worst of all of like the worst image of the left that you could possibly see. Um, and that's what did it for me. And so like that was a good handful of years ago.
Okay. Interesting. Hmm. So would you say like your experience with the people itself like made you go like there's got to be better answers here than
The
what they're
people,
saying?
especially, I used to call these people the clipboard holders. The people that said that they had the answers for like how to solve society's problems, how are you going to undermine the capitalist system? How are you going to undermine the immigration laws, etc.? How are you going to do that? And it seemed like the only answer that the left was actually providing people is throw a tantrum really, really loud until people side with you.
Right.
And that's all I see. That's all I see from the left, like basically anywhere. It's just like a politics that is fundamentally based in resentment and not based in actually trying to come up with like solutions for a more ethical society.
Right.
So yeah, that was it. Yeah.
Okay. So when you saw, so it's basically like a contradictory of like stated values versus like lived out principles, essentially. Like you're like, clearly you don't believe this because if these were
Exactly.
your values, you wouldn't be acting in this way.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Huh, that's super interesting. It's very similar to what led me to like walking away from fundamentalism. But
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
also
Yeah.
find extreme left and extreme positions in general tend to have religious elements to them of like dogma, no question, and um, shield trying to like almost shield people from asking questions. Like asking questions is
Yeah.
inherently bad. Um,
So being motivated to learn in a non-dogmatic way, not appealing to the authority of God or not appealing to the authority of anything else, and just living in curiosity and trying to be a better person, that's the thing. So if you can do that from a Christian perspective, like more power to you, that's fine.
yeah, exactly. I mean,